Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. This is going to be a different one because I usually don't make videos like this. Today we're going to go over some of the bugs that I found in the game, and there were so many of them that I felt that I had to make this video. Now, depending on how it does, I may do some more videos like this, but this will be the first of its kind on the channel. The game that we're talking about today is Fear the Time Loop, the Prologue. Now, before I even get into what I found, let me just start by saying the game is not bad, but it does have some issues that I would like to address. And a lot of them are minor, so just keep that in mind. There's some of them that I felt that should have been addressed before the game came out, but I digress. I enjoyed it. I can't wait for the full version to come out, and hopefully by the time this video comes out, they would have addressed some of these issues already, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that has found something, you know what I mean? So with that being said, let's jump right in with the first thing that I noticed in the game. Because it plays a lot like Resident Evil, I was expecting a lot of Resident Evil stuff in it, but that's not what I got. It's very similar, but the play and the feel is completely different in my opinion. Especially the handling of the character and how he just runs looks completely different than any Resident Evil game that I've played. In this very first scene in the game, I noticed there were floating blood splatters right behind him. And if you look as the camera turns, you'll see what I'm talking about right there. There is the floating blood splatter. And at first, I realized that he's bleeding out and he needs help. But the blood shouldn't fall in the air. The blood shouldn't fall in the air. Not only that, I picked up on it several times throughout the games. This is another part where I noticed a floating object, which I think it's another blood splatter, but I'm not sure. I was fighting a zombie, and as the zombie was coming down the stairs, I noticed something right there floating right above the staircase. What is that? I don't know. Again, minor things. You know, I try to go with the Praise Correct Praise method when it comes to doing any kind of critiques, and that's my personal brand, the PCP method. Not that kind of PCP, the Praise Correct Praise kind of PCP, because I don't want to feel like I'm just bashing the game completely. That's not my intention. So floating objects are the first thing that I noticed, and it only snowballed from there. Now, this is not a bug, but I'd love to see more of it. The psychological element of horror games, and this whisper in the bathroom does it perfectly. I wish we had more of that throughout the game, because as a gamer and a horror gamer, the psychological part of it, and I know this is not a psychological horror game, however, that was an added feature that I really enjoyed, and I look forward to hearing and experiencing things like that, because it really keeps you on your toes. Now again, this is survival horror. Psychological horror is totally different, but those elements work hand in hand, whether you're playing psychological or survival horror. So I'd love to see more of this, the whispering of the voices, or even a jump scare here and there. And there are no jump scares in the game, by the way, which I wasn't expecting them to. Resident Evil, if it's going for that comparison, Resident Evil doesn't have any real like jump scares. It's not that kind of game. Moving on. The biggest thing that I noticed in the game that I felt like this should have been addressed, and I tried restarting the game several times to check to make sure that this in fact was not a quick fix. But I restarted it several times, and for whatever reason, the control button in the menu, in the option menu, would not work for me. Every time I clicked on it, nothing would pop up. So I didn't know the controllers and how to play the game. This feature should be standard for any game that you're playing. Why was it not working for me? Has anyone played this game and ran into this issue? Please let me know in the comments, because this was very frustrating for me. Now, granted, there is a tutorial, and it tells you throughout the game how to play. All right, but there are other things that weren't mentioned in the prologue run that I felt like it should have been mentioned. But regardless of that, the control button should be working and should have everything that you need to know on how to play the game. Moving on from that, again, this is not a bug, but this would be an added feature which I feel like would make the game run a lot smoother. And that's having the option to use your mouse to enter codes in the keyboard, or on keypads I should say. The keypad in every game that I've played on PC, and I'm playing on a PC by the way, gives us the option to enter codes using the mouse. This is the first game that I've played where I do not have that option, and I have to use the keyboard strictly to enter codes. Do you know how frustrating that is when you're actually trying to learn the game? You got zombies trying to eat your face off from behind. Ended up dying a couple times because of this, but I would love to have the option to use the mouse to enter codes on the keypads. I just feel like that should be a standard feature. That's just me. Anyway, moving on from that. For the most part, the game is compared to Resident Evil. And by all accounts, it looks, plays, and pretty much resembles Resident Evil in many ways. However, the texture is another thing that drew my attention, especially when I stopped to check my watch. Good old Sheriff Cooper here looks like a zombie himself. It just looks like the texture was incomplete or undone or unfinished or whatever word you would like to insert there. It was not polished, and I felt like for a game at this level, at this caliber, should have had finished and polished textures on his characters. Never mind the fact the mount wasn't moving when he was talking. I don't really care about that. I'd much rather have a more consistent texture when it comes to the aesthetics of the character, because anyone can look at this. It's to me a little off-putting that he looks the way he looks, you know, and it's only his arms. I just noticed that. It's only his arms that look that way. His face is fine. It just doesn't look like the texture of the hand is finished. He looked burnt, or like he looked like he got zombie hands. So at some point, the devs, they overlooked smoothing out the texture in the arms, the forearms, and the hands. That's another thing that I feel like should have been addressed. Oh, this is a big one. Alright. My mouse got stuck and I was unable to turn my camera for whatever reason. This happened a few times throughout the game. I don't know why. And it just got stuck. And I'm telling you, I'm not trying to bash this game, but for me, I did not have a great experience. First experience with it. Because this is another thing. This happened right after I noticed the texture of the hand, that now I couldn't turn. Now luckily it was a quick fix. I had to like basically minimize the game and then pull it back up, and it went away. So it wasn't a huge deal, but the fact that it happened more than once and I had to do it in this hour-long playthrough that I have, takes away from the fun of it. You know what I mean? So devs, if you're watching, please fix some of this stuff. If you haven't addressed it yet, please fix some of this stuff. But eventually it worked just fine. I did 2 playthroughs of this game, and the first playthrough went fine. Well, I found some bugs in the first playthrough. The second playthrough I played, and there's some things that happened in the second playthrough that didn't happen in the first. On the second playthrough, I noticed that the flashlight in the room where you pick it up, I had a hard time picking it up. I was clicking on everything else but the flashlight. So apparently that lets me know that you have to pick it up in a certain position or angle to pick it up. That was frustrating. Now luckily it was only the flashlight that I ran into that problem with. Nothing else gave me an issue that needs to be addressed, because again, I may not be the only one that have experienced that. And then shortly after that, the screen went out on me. Now, this could be due to my recording software, I don't know, or the game itself, I don't know. But I am leaning towards it being my recording software, because even though the screen went blank, I was still able to play the game. I saw it on I have dual monitors. I saw it on my other monitor, and I was playing just fine. I ended up playing this section here for almost 20 minutes before I realized that my OBS studio wasn't recording any of the gameplay. It was recording the audio, but none of the gameplay. So that leads me to believe that it was my OBS, but then again, I don't know for sure. It's been so buggy since I've been playing. Now, the bleeding through is another thing that I noticed, and again, this is not a huge deal. It's common with any kind of survival horror, any games, period. There's got to be some kind of what I call bleeding through. I don't know what you call it, but the arm through the door, even though they're closed, or a window, or even a wall. I realize that that's just standard, so not a huge deal. But again, this, when I first saw this, I thought that I was able to go through the door because my arm is through it. Why not my entire body? But that was not the case. The doors were either jammed or locked, and I didn't have access to them. So that sucks. My next issue comes with the zombies. And the zombies in this game are very, I don't know, lazy, I guess, or lackadaisical. I don't know what word I can use for them, but they all seem very uninterested in biting me. It's like they're not hungry or something. The swing attack here is what I didn't really like the most about a zombie, because I thought that I was at a safe distance, and again, this happened to me several times where almost it seems like a whiff of air that would strike me, and I'm hurt from that. So I would like to see more of more of a pronounced hit, more of a contact hit and a stumble, so to speak, because in this section here, and the few times that they did strike me, I thought that I was at a safe distance, but yet I still got hit. Not cool. So again, this is not a bug, but a fix that I feel like would help the game. But you could tell I was surprised that I got hit. So I'm like, what, that hit me? So that's one thing. The zombies also, for a couple of them, seem to get stuck on doors or in the thresholds of doors for some reason. I don't have, when the screen went blank on me earlier, there was one that was stuck on a door, and I literally went right up to it and shot it several times. It didn't turn around, I didn't aggro it. It literally just stood there and it didn't do anything to me. Same thing with this one in this door. He's facing the door. I shot him several times. He didn't turn around to lunge at me or chase me or any of that. He just stood there and let me unalive him. So that needs to be addressed. I don't remember dealing with that in any zombie games before. Please fix. Now, a lot of these rooms are, I feel like, are a waste of time, to be honest, because they're big and they're empty. And this room where I fought a zombie with a door almost had nothing in it but one clip. I'm nitpicking at this point, but whatever. Small fixes, and a lot of them, they add up to something for me. So I know a lot of these things are small and minute, but these are just things that I noticed and things that I would like to see in the game. Don't bash me. This is just my opinion based on my playthrough of the game. So yeah, big empty room, all these bookshelves with nothing really of significance. Now, I get the game doesn't have a melee attack or any kind of breakable weapons that we can use, but to put a wrench in front of us and not give us the ability or the option to pick it up and use it seems like a low blow to me. I know that's not what it's going for. It's not, we don't have that option, but I would love to have that option because why not? I don't know if they will change that. I don't know if they'll add that. I don't think they will have breakable objects, but just something that I noticed because, you know, it was right here in front of me. The last thing I noticed in this game was the fact that when you find the tapes and you're playing these videos, it's hard to watch the video, the projector, and hear what is being said, right? And I turned the camera several times to watch, not only watch the video, but hear the audio speaking as well. And this drove me insane because even though I had subtitles, I wanted to hear what they were saying, what the video was talking about. I was unable to find an angle that allowed me to watch the projector on the screen and hear clearly what they're saying during the recording. I feel like this is another minor thing that they could fix, but it was a little off-putting for me. So those are just a few of the things that I came across in this game. If you played a game and you've ran into any bugs or anything that you've noticed, let me know in the comments down below because the game has a lot of potential and I really do enjoy it. And despite all this stuff I mentioned, I'll play the full version of it. Oh, one more thing. The zombies all seem to die a similar way, especially when you with the headshots. The headshots, their heads all come off the exact same way. There's no variation. So maybe change that up with some of the death animations. Anyway, I've been rambling on enough. This is not to bash the game. Again, it's a great game, a lot of potential. There are a lot of little things that I noticed throughout the game that just compelled me to make this video. And that's why I made it. So get it for yourself, try it out, let me know what you think about it. And if you'd like to check out my playthrough, the link is in the description, so you can check that out. But that's pretty much it. All right, till next time, peace.